It's not personal, it's personnel. What am I talking about? Let's find out. What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Solutions Podcast. As always, your host, Ramzy. And before we get into the topic of this episode, I have to address the big elephant in the room, which is, what the hell happened? Where have I been? Well, I've talked in multiple episodes about my time overseas, and now I'm finally back. But I had to do some adjusting. I had to take some time to adjust to my family again, and I also had to take some time to get ready because I now reside in the wonderful sunny state of Florida. I went coast to coast from California to Cocoa Beach, Florida. Cannot get any better. Now, there's some compare and contrast things that we can definitely talk about each state, but that's going to be for another episode or maybe just some online content, okay? But that's what's been holding me up a lot. It's the transition. It's very, very, very hard. So when people, how can I say, when people return from overseas, it's hell of an adjustment, and only very few people understand that. And you have to adjust to your family again. You have to adjust to the country that you're back in and you're operating in. It's very different. But I'm back. I know some people thought I quit. And for y'all, I say, hi, hater. But no, I am still here. We're still doing it. And pretty much, I already got my equipment, so I can't stop doing it because then I'm going to get my butt kicked by my in-home commander. But no, I'm just joking. I still like this, and I still like to be able to put out a good word and a good message, a weekly message, which is what I'm going to get back to everybody that will listen. Very quick. I'm still keeping them short unless I do an interview, but I'm teaching 2 lessons in this episode. Lesson number 1 is not personal, it's personal. Let me take that back. It's not personal, it's personnel. And the other is the white belt mentality. And the reason why I say that I'm teaching 2 things at once is because I'm going to explain one through the other, and without one, you will not understand the other. So I got this, it's not personal, it's personnel, from one of the supervisors that I met this new job that I got into. And this is just to show everybody, you could still learn no matter how old or what you've been through in life. So I just learned this a week and a half ago. And that's where I go into the white belt mentality. And that's why I want to teach 2 lessons. The white belt mentality that got me to this new lesson of it's not personal, it's personnel. The white belt mentality comes from a very, very simple concept, which is always be willing to learn and learn every single time that you can. Most people that have done martial arts, or even people that haven't done martial arts for a very long time, some people always, you do the little kid karate and stuff like that where you're growing up, or you do your taekwondo and stuff like that. Most kids do that or used to do that, right? So you'll understand that you'll start with a white belt. A white belt means you're starting clean, and that is where your foundation is at. You're clean, you're white, you know nothing, okay? And don't confuse white with color of skin, because I know the world's a crazy place. Now, I'm talking about white as far as like pure. You know nothing, but you're about to enter into something. So one thing that I have always done for myself is I always kept that white belt mentality. I always stayed humble no matter what I know. If you know something I don't, I want to learn it. And wherever I go, yes, I have my experience and I bring that to the table, and that's what helps me shine above the rest and shine above my peers. But I'm not going to sit here and not want to learn anymore. And I'm not going to sit here and ignore good lessons. Another thing that I've always heard and I've always lived through is wise words from an indecent man, meaning wise words from indecent people means you could learn even from the people you do not like. But that is a white belt mentality. Always learn, always grasp concepts, okay? On to the main topic. So, as I mentioned at the beginning of this episode, I literally have just moved across the United States in order to begin a new job. I am going to be officially a professor. And anybody can argue with me about if that's true or that's not. But if you look at the definition of what a professor is you're teaching individuals at a higher grade than lower academics, meaning that I am teaching further scholar education, which is something I never thought I would do in my life. I'll be 100% honest. I never thought that I'd be being the voice of reason for some people. It is insane. But also, you want to debate it. I am going through certifications and accreditations in order to hold my own and own my spot. All right. So pretty soon, I'll be Professor Ramzy. Kind of crazy. But I did start this job. But on top of doing that, I'm also the liaison between branches, which is something that I was not expected to do. It just so happened that somebody's leaving and they looked at me and said, "Hey, you look squared away. You are now responsible for liaisoning," which is very interesting. But the guy that was doing the job previous, he literally left at the end of the week that I started. And he's the one that said, it's not personal, it's personnel. And it seems to be that is the conflict between the valued customer that we're trying to keep happy, or that I'm going to be liaisoning between, and our organization. All right. So let's talk about valued customer. What does that mean? I will tell you, every single organization, whether you're a butcher, whether you take out the trash, whether you're a fry cook at, the Krusty Krab, whatever it is, everybody has a valued customer. Me, for example, anybody that listens, that is my valued customer. I need y'all to listen to help the show grow in order so we can begin getting sponsors, and then we start putting the right companies in front of the right people, and we make a better organization, right? But everybody has a valued customers. You know who really has valued customers? Politicians. Everybody has a valued customer. So it just so happens that I'm walking into a storm where one of our customers is not too happy. And he made a good point that they're taking something that's personnel based, meaning basic process and policy, and they're taking it personally why they can't do what they want to do. And that got me to think, how many times do we not do that? How often do we not do that? And how many times have we done that? I'm sure it's more than you think if you really sit back and think back. I know I've done it even myself. I know that sometimes somebody treats me a certain type of way and I take it personally. And it's like, nah, they're really just doing their job. Now, do they have the best attitude about it? Sometimes they don't, but they're really just doing their job, and there's a process in place, and that is the way that's supposed to be. The business is supposed to be being done. When it comes to when we get friends that go into a company or that go into an organization or start their own business, what's the first thing people ask of them? Their friends, their families, everybody that's close to them, what's the first thing they ask for? They ask for a hookup. And damn if they do, damn if they don't. You give them that hookup, you're losing business. You don't give them that hookup, they might take it personal, and you're losing your friends, and you're losing the relationship you have with your family. So those are tricky waters to navigate, but it's things that we have to understand that sometimes it's not personal. They're just handling business. And that is the lesson for this episode, is understanding that only because somebody is having you follow the process and the place that is in play does not mean they have something against you. And we're so busy because we have lost a lot of interpersonal skills through this pandemic that we have not gotten back. On top of the pandemic, the social media doesn't help because we can talk to a screen and talk through a screen, but we don't talk to each other. So we stop learning body language. We stop learning facial expressions. We stop learning actual human relations, that when we hear something we don't like, we're taking it so personal and not realizing it's just business. That's what this is about. So another way of wording that, I just thought it sounded cool. It's not personal, it's personnel. I thought that sounded slick. Like it did. So just remember that one. But basically, it falls down to when you're operating in an environment, in any type of environment, all the way to Mickey D's trying to get a discount or something. They don't want to give it to you. You know, when you're going with your military card and they're like, nah, we don't do that here. You know what I mean? Things like that. It's just business. It's not that they like you or they don't. Now, if they like you, you might get hooked up, but that's not the point. If you can't get it when it's right, don't get it at all. If you cannot get it the right way, don't get it at all. Don't try for it. Work to get it the right way. And if you happen to get it easier, cool. So there you have it, folks. Those were the two lessons for today. One is about the white belt mentality, just to make sure that I'm pronouncing it right. And the other one is, it's not personal, it's personnel. All right? Get those two lessons, work them this week, and see how your life improves over the next 7 days. And until next time, because I will be more consistent with this. Until next time, thank you all for listening. And please like and subscribe. All right, I am out.